All right. Welcome.
Greatest.
How are you, sir?
Oh man, I'm good on a Fragada Friday.
But I got a Friday, yeah, but this is gonna come out on Saturday.
That's okay.
So,
This,
but listen, I think our last video was good. I think we learned a lot from it. We're gonna talk faster. We're gonna keep this energized, and we're gonna cut this down in time. So we got a lot of information to put out there. So I think the idea was you received this letter in your mail with just the victim card letter, right?
well, here he goes.
Yeah. So open that
Oh,
up
I
and
need to have you. You need to activate the participant screen sharing.
oh, okay. But we're going to this is going to be the Fragada Follies video. All right, you're active. Let's see that letter. I think you took some notes on it, and we're going to talk through it real quick as we highlight just the stuff off the top of our head that we remember.
Yeah.
You might
So
want to, why don't you zoom it in a little bit? I think we all, yeah. I mean, I've never seen this in my life. Have you ever seen a candidate send like a sad letter like this that they're being attacked and all that fun stuff? But
this setting the record straight is just a recycling of all the stuff she has on all her flyers that are going out. It's just a blah of
yeah, I got the email as well about this.
all kinds of things here that are just you know, it tees everything up to show the lying campaign. That's all it is. It's just a slew of lies. But the thing is that we have the receipts because this is WTF, Doral. What's the fact, Doral? This
That's
is where
it.
we are. This is where we are in this campaign. Okay, she calls up this letter here and says that these false attacks against you, you know, no, we'll show the receipts, and that they're damaging communications. Well, they're only damaging because they're true. Otherwise, it wouldn't be damaging.
Yeah. I mean, listen, let's just be, I'm going to highlight really quickly. I know some of the mailers that came out. I know there was one that came out talking about her not being a real Republican. We all know she just converted to being a Republican in January. Before that, she was NPA because it was convenient. Now she's obviously aligned with the Republican Party. Obviously, the discussion is that she's going to be handing over her seat and helping, the current governor assign somebody to that seat. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever, that's just not cool. But I think we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. The other thing was there was a mailer that just came out recently about her alignment with Lacayo. Listen, she's always been perfect at staying, arm's distance of individuals that she doesn't want to really be associated with. But we all see, we all know, and there's that saying, right? You lay with dogs and you're gonna get fleas.
Yeah.
So you got Esquivel, you've got Pinedo, Forrest, luckily, I mean, I think she's done a great job of trying to stay away from Lacayo as much as possible. But the whole Lacayo team was pushing for Fraga. I mean, there's text, there's just a lot of information. So I can't dispute that flyer. Once again, she did a good job of staying away from it. And then there was the one that just came out recently talking about all her failures on the school board. And actually, I have that one up. So I'm going to share that one really quick because you want to talk about failures on the school board. Basically, she made a long list, and let me zoom this in if I can access it. But she, in typical fashion, huge list of promises. And I basically highlighted what she told me she accomplished, right? Which is this item here, better communication between two student teachers and administrators, right? But everything else, everything else just didn't happen. Now, is it because she's leaving 1 year and a half into her 4 year role? Could be, but a lot of this stuff was just already very general, very vague stuff that invest in technology. I mean, okay, um, whatever. I mean, just stuff that just doesn't happen, right? So What else you got in that letter?
Well, the letter basically goes into focusing on providing the leadership that the route deserves. What integrity, honesty, courage to fight. Well, somebody says
Oh,
something that's not so nice, and immediately she cries. That she's being bullied.
oh,
I
wait,
don't know
I've
what
heard
she's
that
gonna do.
before. Wait, read that again. I've heard that before.
Well, the courage to fight. I'm just saying, something goes wrong and she starts crying about being bullied.
Yeah, so
How's she going to deal with all these other pressures?
oh no, politics is tough.
It
Politics
is.
is tough, and she's been doing this for a while. So just what you said, right? And looking at this article that she put together, this was when she was running for C3. She was running for re-election, right? So she's the incumbent. She's been in her seat. She's running for re-election. So in her mind, her agenda is to say the city's great, everything is perfect. There's people out there that are going to come in and tell you that the city's broken. And that's exactly what she talks about here, right? Some
Right.
candidates.
This is what she is saying
Mhm.
when she was on council, that people were going to be running for it, saying these things.
Correct,
Exactly.
correct. Which really is what she has to do now. She has to show that the city is not good, because if the city is great, why would you want to change anything, right? So she has to create a platform. I can't blame her. If you don't create a platform, why are people going to want to vote for you?
Well, that's all
So
she's got. That's all she's
yeah,
got because she doesn't have the proven results.
yeah.
She has not had those proven results. She stepped away from the council at the end. She ran for the school board. She wasn't qualified for that.
Mm.
Kudos for
But
her
she
for winning
ran.
that. But
Wait. I'll give her credit. She
yeah,
ran a great campaign.
yeah,
She
exactly. So
worked.
she
She
won.
worked hard.
But I mean, really, why would you do that without having that background in education and stuff? Because evidently,
No,
we'll see.
Fernando, we know why she did that. And I was telling
Exactly.
everybody, I was screaming it from the rooftops. She did it on purpose, and she actually played it well. She did it on purpose to try to keep her name active, her name warm. She was trying to keep that name recognition. It
Yeah.
also gave her a lot of in to the schools. She was able to go into the schools. I mean, from what I hear and from what I've seen, these schools nowadays have all these pictures of her huge face, showing she's the school board member. When have we ever seen this in a school that anybody's invested that much money in self-propaganda at a school
Right.
level? That's
Exactly.
crazy. But hold on, let me
Right.
read this, because going back to exactly what you had just read, there will be saviors, there will be, because a rescuer is surely at hand, right? They will want to serve. They will give the residents more of a voice. They will have the experience and the skills. They will bring additional transparency and honesty to the council,
My
right?
gosh. Anybody? Anybody? Have you seen this in her mailers? Have you seen this in the things that are being said by the entire team there?
Yeah, this
That's
is
their.
exactly what
That's
I
it.
just read from that letter. So go
She
back to that
said
letter,
that's what
please.
she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
go back to that letter. I think that's a perfect just guide to this conversation.
So this letter that came out, that's what you want to see?
Yeah. I think this is perfect, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, she says here she's grown accustomed to political opposition and false attacks against her. Okay, but then we're sending this letter, right? And then, however, recent political interests have stooped to a new low. Uh, just call a spade a spade. I mean, what's a political interest? I guess like, her opposition.
Right.
So, what do you see
It's
in
all
this?
in general terms without saying anything specific because the other points that she wants to say that she'll focus on the issues that are important to our residents. Well, all those points there are already, 4 out of 6 of them are already done by the current administration. You know, get the Doral Central Park project back on track. It is back on track.
Yeah,
It was just delayed for the reasons that everybody knows.
yeah, COVID one. I just looked at the
Hey,
schedule. We're off by a year.
the schedule to be straight, it's off because the current city manager did the right thing and
We
managed it
stopped.
properly to stop when they saw that there was at a certain level that wasn't going to be met with the budget.
Correct.
It wasn't going to happen. Things had exploded in pricing. It had a $90 million estimates to some costs that were not going to be met. He said, hold on a second. Let's take it back to council. Let's talk about all this stuff. And then you come back, it's fixed. This is the new, uh, you know, way we're going to go forward to meet,
Yeah,
finance it properly, get it all done. Now we're going forward. It's back on track. So
yeah.
her first point, if she gets elected, boom, her first point is done already for her. What else is done for her? Protecting the city from overdevelopment and more traffic. Okay, how are you going to
That's
exactly?
fear mongering. That's just political. That's
Exactly.
word vomit. That's what that is right there. That's just, I don't know any other way to call it. That she knows that that's BS. She sat on the council for 8 years and was a major part of all this development.
She knows that
So
developers have rights. When you own a piece of
developers have
property,
rights.
you have rights, and you can't just flat out say no, like she already learned when she did that last time when she was on council with Boria. They said no to a developer, and the developer had full rights to do what they were intending to do. They
Yeah.
sued the city, and who did it cost? It
Workforce.
cost us taxpayers
It was
because
workforce housing. They were
they
trying to
were
get workforce housing bonuses.
and they were playing politics with it. They tried to like be the ones who stopped development. Well, you know what? You
It
did
was a
was
few
you
weeks before
affect
election.
us. Yep.
It was a few weeks before election. Then we got sued. City got sued. They had to pay, and the guy still got the units. You
And that
know.
was under who? Who was on council there? Christie was.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it was Christie and Boria were the two main ones that voted no.
That's right. That's right. So
So
a lot of residents don't know this. A lot of people don't voters that don't haven't been around as long and maybe hadn't had the opportunity to look at all these things. And that's why we pointed out here.
or haven't
People,
tuned in.
this is it. This is
Yeah.
it. Radis,
But
let's go
let's
back
keep
a
going
second.
fast. Let's go fast because there's a lot to cover. I
Let's go
mean,
back a second. I mean, this letter is one thing. I'm going to take it off. Let's talk about some things here. Let's talk about some things here. Back to Hurricane Irma. Okay.
uh,
Let's call it what it was. It was a shit show of a council meeting.
yeah, she called. She was the one who requested an emergency council meeting. Um, Pete was asking, staff if she met with staff to find out, because what she wanted to do, the reason why she had the meeting was she wanted the city's taxpayers, because if the city pays for something, it's the city's taxpayers. So she wanted the city's taxpayers to pay to clean up HOAs, special communities, and just areas that needed to be cleaned up, right? Really, for people who didn't do their due diligence, that maybe didn't have HOA cleanup as a line item in their reserve, she wanted to come in as a savior and clean this up for them. She didn't meet with council. She didn't meet with staff. She didn't understand how much this was going to cost. There was no guarantees that FEMA was going to pay this back. And I remember that meeting because Pete was the one that just ripped into her. And after that meeting, they actually passed an ordinance requiring council members to meet with staff and to get buy-in before anything gets put on an agenda. So basically, Christie has had several policies and ordinances, even like the censure one, that
Oh,
I call them the Christie policies, because she's done stuff that has made council have to create rules because it's just crazy, right? I mean, the
yeah,
censure
well,
one, let's talk about censure real quick. I don't know
yeah,
if you
do that
remember
one. Yeah,
when,
that's that was embarrassing because it was
That's
almost
classic.
painful to watch. It was a, la pena ajena type of thing. When you look at it, you say, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah. But there was a few things that were wrong with that. And that even stretched into her calling the news media to come in like at the following council meeting because she was telling the media that the council was looking to censor people, right? Like take away your freedom of speech.
Like, yeah, like shut you up, like some of the people were trying to say today at the elections department with this, oh, the
Yeah.
X type of thing.
Yeah. And
No, no censor,
Claudia tried to
censure,
explain it. Correct.
censure.
Correct. So
Come on,
Claudia was
people.
trying to explain to her the difference between censor and censure, right? Censure being a formal reprimand. So when you do something silly, dumb, something that you shouldn't do, that was like a no-no, the rest of the council can censure you. The issue here was that she started talking to the news media. She was talking to the news media and talking in a way that it was like if she was speaking on behalf of the city, and
That's
that's
the problem.
unacceptable.
That's the
So
problem.
then after that, this whole show happened where the news media came in, and what JC did, and it was amazing because honestly I thought it was like epic. He found a video of her when Borio was mayor, where they did the same thing. It was amazing. She did the same exact thing.
That
Whatever.
was perfect. Yeah, it showed exactly the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
The,
And
not
listen,
only the hypocrisy, but the twisting. And this comes down to just basically nail exactly what she does. She takes something and she makes it about her and how this is affecting her or her stance on something, and then cries unfairness. My
yeah,
main issue, my main issue is when she takes it to the public, and she takes it to the public saying certain things that are expected to be, uh, honest, things that are honest that come from an elected official. That they
mhm,
look at the person and say, "Well, this person's been on council. They have the experience. They must know what's going on the inside," and they go ahead present things as fact, and it's not. It's dangerous spewing of half truths, and those are the worst. The half truths, where you use something, it gives it some sort of a credibility
yeah.
because it's based on some sort of fact, but twisted with blatant lies, and you count on the voters' trust that the elected official has been responsible in what they're saying, and using that trust against the voters to
Or
take.
the numbers, or
Yeah,
even
well,
the
it
numbers
takes,
that they're
yeah,
putting out there.
it takes the trust of the voter and takes her own political ambition over doing what's right or saying what's right. Misrepresenting, it's dangerous. Not only is it dangerous, it's insulting when you actually know the truth and you're seeing it. You want
Well,
to scream
forget
from the
that.
mountaintop.
Listen, just basic stuff of how how you comport yourself. I mean, like how you go about representing your constituents that voted for you. No, let me just start off with one thing. Council members have one main job. The main job is to show up for council meetings and to vote. That's their main job. When you
My
elect
gosh.
somebody, you're electing them to go and vote and to hopefully, have the same beliefs as you or probably vote the same way you would want them to vote, to represent you.
There's so many instances where she has just
So many.
not attended.
Yeah, her attendance record's horrible. I think the only person that has a worse attendance record, I'll double check because I was shocked, was actually Pete. But I know that Pete missed quite a few meetings because he really had a pretty serious family event that he had to, be away from the route. So I'm aware of that, but a lot of missed meetings. But hold on, it gets crazier because she's actually done things to try to weasel her way to not have a bad attendance.
Oh
There's
yeah.
one video which I'm trying to find. It's not easy to find because I don't remember which one it is, but I'll find it. She showed up, she did the Pledge of Allegiance, and then left. I mean, this is the stuff I usually skip in the beginning of the council meetings because it's only like 2 minutes in. Once again, she showed up, did the Pledge of Allegiance, and boogied out because technically it wouldn't count as an absence. So that was crazy. Then I've already posted to the group twice where she's just walked out of the meeting. There's even one where Pete Cabrera is like, are we documenting this? Because this is not the first time that this councilwoman does this. There was once that she walked out. There were only 3 people on the dais. And by her leaving,
You
because
lost
she didn't
quorum.
have a vote on the next item that was up,
Yeah.
by her leaving, there was no quorum. JC was there, obviously as the mayor, as the chair, confused, like wondering if is she even coming back? Like, what's going on? The whole meeting had to stop. An official meeting had to be terminated because she just walked away and left.
I mean, explosive diarrhea. What is it?
That was the first time she left. She blamed it on having to use the restroom, correct. But I'm very well aware that she had a PTA event where her ice creams were being served here at John M. Smith. And I was told, I don't have, they didn't want to release video footage, but I was told that you see her just going to the back parking lot and leaving. So there was no need to use the restroom. Anyway, if you had to use the restroom, you leave your pocketbook and come back, right? But
If
whatever.
that's what you intend to do, but there was no intention, of course.
Yeah, yeah. So listen, I think that whole thing of even like the Pledge of Allegiance one, that is like the biggest insult. And I might sound offensive here, but I think it's like almost like a big middle finger to your constituents when you like show up and you're gaming the system to not be marked absent, but you just leaving.
Well, how about when, yeah, exactly. How about when you show up at a Zoom meeting and then
Oh,
you turn your camera off, and then simultaneously at the
yeah,
same time she's doing a campaign interview with
yeah,
Pinedo.
yeah,
Okay, I mean, what kind of
yeah,
disrespect is that to the council? And they're saying is because at that time the rotating, vice mayor position was her. Oh, is the vice mayor around?
yeah.
Can she like tap in and say something? Can you
Dude,
like?
she loves the vice mayor title so much that if you look on the Zoom, her Zoom says VF, not CF, VF, Vice Mayor Fraga. That's her Zoom thing. But wait, there's more, right? Because I knew that was, I was like, I was following when these individuals were doing their campaign things, because I keep track of what everybody says and everything. And I'm like, how is she gonna do both of these at the same time? So that's when I started recording the video. So I call her out on Facebook live. The meeting is still happening, and I know the delay time because she's like, no. So I call her out on Facebook and I go, why are you even answering me on Facebook? And she's like, oh, the meeting's been over like 10 minutes ago. There's like a delay. There's no delay. The delay is like 40 seconds. I know the delay is less than 40 seconds. So you can't make this up, man. And even the council members were like, hey, we'd like to hear from Vice Mayor Fraga. Wait, let's add insult to injury, right? They were talking about the park bond. There was a big discussion about the park bond.
Yep.
He wasn't tuned in. Listen, one other thing. The council has had to make a policy telling council members that they can only show up with their issued laptop and like all electronics equipment has to be put away because for a long time she was showing up and just texting, being distracted. She was spending more time on her phone texting than doing anything else. So they had to make a policy to remove electronic devices. It was crazy.
Wow. Who are we dealing with here? I mean, are these people that are supposedly going to be really representing us? Because, I know of someone who hasn't missed a single meeting or a single vote, you know? And I'm sorry to say, I was a Fraga supporter. I voted for her. And over time, this is where I am now, where I'm indignant right now at the promises that are being made when I know the history because I've watched it. I watched it in person. I've watched it online. You know, I've seen the actions.
Yeah,
These
you're
are
very involved.
these are things that are just unacceptable. We can't accept it to be, you know, you can't make up your facts. You can't say, this is reality with a smile and big old smile and walking around and saying that this is what happened. And people, oh, she must be, look how nice she is. She's, it's got to be true. No,
Yeah,
no. And that's why we're calling it out. What's the fact, Doral? These are the facts. These are the facts. And this is the reason why we do what we do. If it wasn't a fact, we wouldn't be talking about it. We're not talking about making up stuff. These are things that are backed up. This is the way we do.
yeah. So,
Okay.
so hold on. Let's get to my favorite. I think my favorite meeting because it kind of like had everything. I posted it I posted it recently and I said, if you had to watch one video, you gotta watch this one. So this was that budget meeting where she used what she called it, right? Cuban meth.
Oh, oh,
There was so many things wrong there.
oh my gosh.
Remember, this is an individual who supposedly, or I mean, supposedly she has a degree from finance, right? From FIU. Now, I know she lied about being a CPA, which is fine, but
It's not fine. That's
let's
not
just talk
fine.
about this meeting.
Okay,
We gotta
but
talk
that's
about
not
this meeting.
fine.
So here's all the craziness about this meeting. She was having a hard time understanding what a 1% or 2% increase. It's called COLA, cost of living adjustment, right? Or cost of living increase. She was under the impression that council members who are currently making, let's call it $30,000, were going to be making $200,000 in only a few years.
And
Okay.
over the city manager's salary.
Oh, that's the other thing. She didn't understand that a cost of living increase impacts everybody across the board. So you're right. So the city manager would not be stuck at $200,000. He would also go up. But even Pete had to explain to her, it's going to take like more than 70 years plus just to double what they're currently at.
Yeah, that's the
So
rule
to
of
get to
seven.
the rule of 72 or whatever. So
Yeah, 72, 72.
to get to the $200,000 that she was talking about would, let's say what they're at $30,000. So you're talking like 70 years or something like that. Yeah, I think it was 70 years to get there. But that's inflation. That's cost of living. Milk was 25 cents.
But
Now it's
dude, hold on a
$4.
second. But hold on. Are we gonna really think that it was just because she got it wrong?
No.
No, no, these are intentional. These are intentional to make it, sensational. These are sensationalized numbers. And that's why I love what I do.
Well, she
Um,
says honest mistakes.
well, no, it's not honest. They are mistakes coming out of the mouth, but they're not honest. I'll tell you
Listen,
that.
most people that work for any company, Fernando, in your business or in mine, I make two honest mistakes like that. I'm fired. Like you just don't hang around with that many honest mistakes. So we're
No,
running out of time. So I'm just telling you, we want to start wrapping this up.
yeah, okay, but that kind of stuff is what's absolutely crazy, and
Mhm.
that is no way to run a campaign spewing out numbers to scare people when you actually look at it. And we've posted some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I've posted
So
some of this stuff and I've gone through numbers to show where they are.
yeah,
She pulls out stuff about the pension and starts, screaming these things, putting them on flyers and saying how they're
hundred
going to be
thousand.
having, $100,000 salaries each one.
Yeah,
That
$1 million
no,
total.
have you even read the thing? There's no way it doesn't happen. You got to be even 60 to start even getting it. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of things that have to happen. There's no, people read the pension. What she's saying is not true. Oh, and one of my favorite things on there, that they get life insurance until death. When the hell else are you going to collect life insurance? It's when you freaking die.
It's funny,
These kind
man.
of things, they put it out there until they die, they're going to have life insurance. Yeah.
I know. Well, the $30 million amphitheater. That first she didn't, she said it was never on the plans. I just found a video, where she actually acknowledges on the video about the amphitheater, and she even says, "Oh, I'm not worried about the amphitheater. That's cool."
Oh
You
God.
know, so it's a moving target. It's a moving target. It all depends on what the agenda is for that day. And I don't think she understands that people can go back to videotape and call her out. So we have the police crime, whatever. She's saying it's exponential. We all know that that's BS right there. I'm not even gonna get into that. I think we touched on it last video. We also talked about the pension plan. We're not in agreement with how it was done, but all the numbers that are being put out there is BS. And the total pension payment is like 0.27% of the budget. That's what we're talking about here. And then obviously we have that whole amphitheater, BS and whatever. Listen, I think this letter that went out and this email that went out, in my opinion, I believe residents are realizing that this is all just garbage in a bag. They're seeing through it. She's really not able to continue peddling this information to to the residents, and that it's not working. That's my opinion. So that's why that letter came out. That
Yeah,
letter seemed pretty desperate to me, and that email as well. So that's
exactly.
it. I mean, I think we compiled quite a bit here. This is just going, for the most part, the main ones that I remember. I mean, God, even her administrative assistant, remember when the news media got into it and they launched an investigation because she tried to use the power of the commission and Fraga's desk with the seal, and then they had to pass a whole policy on the seal
The use
because
of the
she
seal
sent a
because of her
letter.
use. That's
Yeah,
right.
she tried to get her kids into downtown Doral, and that became a
No,
whole
no, no.
thing.
Hold on a second. It was her legislative aide.
Her legislative aide, yes, her legislative aide tried to, yeah, yeah, yeah. So council had to pass another, I mean, as far as I know, there's at least 3 or 4 policies that the council has had to pass to address Fraga's stuff,
Fragadas. Fragadas.
Fragadas, yeah.
And that's
So
why I
brother,
call it
listen,
Fragadas.
I know we wanted to keep this short. Zoom is probably gonna kick us out also. But I hope this was informative to the residents. I know it compiles a lot. We posted a lot of this stuff. The videos of most of this is probably already in the database. You just have to look them up. I do have to find that one with the Pledge of Allegiance. That one is the epitome. But Fernando, hey man, thanks again for your time. Anything else
No,
you
Regis.
wanna sign off with?
This, yeah, this is just uh, people do your research. When you're presented some things to be spewed as facts, question it. I've been shown over the past several elections by the Doral voters that we do see through it. Every time I have more faith in knowing that others are looking into it. But my my main thing always is truth prevails, always, and truth comes out, and no matter what. And if you dig, and if you're somebody who cares, you will find that truth. So again, you watch this video, fine. You hear us talk about these things passionately. Why? Because we care, and we don't want something like this to come in. And if they do it now, okay, in power, what else is being hidden? There
Yeah.
is no other way to look at something to say, if you're lying like this now, what else are you hiding right now? And
Yeah.
there's got to be plenty. There's got to be plenty. And this
So
is,
listen, we're almost at 40 minutes. I can tell you one thing. There's more stuff definitely that I understand is going to be coming out. Some stuff is going to be pretty crazy. But there's stuff too that I don't really have the documentation for, so I'm not going to present it. But that's really it. I mean, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm sorry we tried to do it for 30 minutes, but we're like almost like at 35. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully this is very informative. And I think the next one, we're gonna do what? The Sham radio station that continues from the Sham newspaper from 2020.
you
Maybe that'll
know,
be the next episode we do.
whatever we do, we just chip away and give truths.
That's it. And have some fun with it because it's politics, it's boring, but all you can do is laugh at this point.
You can,
All right, buddy. Have a
you
good night.
can. All right then.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Happy Fragada Friday.
Fragada Friday on a Saturday.